Hello again, it's Linda with Make It Now. We are going to make a spiral card, and I'm going to link below where I got the idea from. The individual uses metrics, and I don't use metrics, and I don't use measuring so much, but I thought I would show it to you on my site. But again, you can click on the link below to see more. But I'm going to go step by step with this card. Now what it does, it's a spiral card. You have this little handle and you go like this all the way around. Isn't that cool? And it goes all the way around like this. Okay, so what would you do with something like this? It is so cute. You can write on every one of these. You can write a message. You can put one word per each one as they open it up. I just think it's fantastic. We're going to make this today. And it looks difficult. It just has a lot of pieces, but it's not hard. Let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is get your paper colors. So I have a variety of colors like this. I have 4 big 12 by 12 pieces. You don't have to have that big. You don't have to have the big paper, but I have it, so I use it. Then I cut one 12 by 12 to 4 6 inches by 6 inches. So they're like this, see, like this, and like this. And so I cut 4 out. I can make 4 cards because this is the mechanism portion of my card. You don't have to have a fancy color. You don't have to have any color because you don't see it anyway. So the first thing you do is you have this little square, 6 inches by 6 inches. Before we get started though, let's talk about the supplies. Of course, you got to have some scissors. And I used Distress ink on some of my project. And then I use this corner cutter. You can either cut your own corners or use a corner cutter. I use Precision Craft glue, just white glue. Any kind of glue works. I use this, I don't know, is it a protractor? I don't even know what they're called. And I use this. I think this is called a compass. I don't know what it's called either, but it's one of those things. I don't know what it's called. Okay. Then I also use a bone folder and a pencil. I think that's all I use, but if I'll go along, I'll let you know more. Now, some of the elements that I do use are these little cutouts. You can get these at Hobby Lobby. You can get a package of like 150 of them for $4 or something. But I like them because they're a little stiffer. Now, the one thing that I don't like about them, and I can't find them, is I would love to have the same picture on the back. I don't like it white. So if you can find them double-sided, that would be the way to go. And it could be any size because we're going to cut them down to size. To give you an example where these embellishments go, is they go on the tops of these cards. You see how I have a little bird sticking out, and then I have a butterfly sticking out, and flowers, so that you can use anything you want. You can even make your own. You can use tabs. I mean, just get creative. But this is what I've used because I have the supplies. Okay, so let's get started. So now we have this 6 inch by 6 inch cardstock. And by the way, you don't need to have it colored on the back. It can be white because you're not going to see this anyways. To set this up, to make the mechanism for making that circular motion, you want to use a ruler and a pencil, and then just draw a line down the middle, all the way from corner to corner on all 4 sides. Let's see here, let's do this one here. Okay. Okay, now what we want to do is find the find the center, which you do. You find it by those little quadrant coming together. And so this is when you use this little thing. You can actually use a quarter, but I don't know, I just use this. There's these little numbers on here. I don't know if you can see them. The little numbers on here. 1, 2. Well, I go way past the 1, 2. I go to a half. Before the 1, there's a little half mark. And that's what I do. And I put that little point in the middle. And then I make my circle. I just make a little circle. Okay, there's that circle. Then you want to make a bigger circle. And so if it's 6 by 6, you want to make sure that you put that little guy in the middle and put your pencil close to the edge. I don't even know how big this is. So I'm just going to draw a circle just to make sure that it's within my square. Now we're going to start making little quadrants. So you want to make sure that the straight line is this way. Put your protractor, I don't know what that's called, this thing on here. Because you want to divide it into perfectly even sized pie slices. So I put this here. I make sure that the 90 degrees is on that line and on this line. And then I'm going to mark little dots all the way around on this. And I happen to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. So I'm going to use all 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then that one's right there, perfectly aligned. And then this goes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this one goes here. So then you have those dots. Now you turn it over. And do the same thing on this side. Make sure that the line is in the middle, off the top and in the middle, and there's a draw line. You know, you get it all together, and then you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we're going to make our pie cuts. Simply take you draw a line from this dot to the first dot. So I'm going to put my little pencil there, and it's going to go to the center as well. So you just draw a line just like that, and you do it all the way around. So by the time you're done, it's going to look like this. Doesn't matter if there's pencil marks on it because you're not going to see it. So now you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to cut this out. So we cut up to here, up to the center, and then you go to the end of the 7. In my case, it looks like it goes from corner to corner, so that works. This gets tossed in the garbage. And then you want to cut around the circle. And you want to cut out this circle. Okay. This is the mechanism that we are going to make, and this is what it looks like. You need your bone folder now, and a little tool to score. Now I do have this mat, it's my sewing mat, and it's perfect for scoring on because it has a little bit of flexibility in it. So I'll take my ruler and I'll go along the lines that I had already drawn, and I'm going to just score all those lines all the way around. Okay. Now we start folding. This is where your bone folder comes into play. So you want to just fold along the score line. Use a bone folder, and then you fold it back. And we're going to do that to every single line that we made. And the last one. So now we have this nice little thing, okay? Let me set this aside. The next thing we're going to make are these little tabs that goes on that circle we just created. Depending on how many lines you have, that's how many cards you have to make. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I need to make 20 little cards. I'm going to make one, and then you can make the rest. I would like kind of a plain, lightweight, kind of a clear color, because I can write on this easily. I don't want it to be too fussy, to be the top part of my card. Then I want to use this piece as the back part of my card. And so how you do it is you want to cut this piece, whatever you use, cut the strip this way, the same size as the width of this little piece here on this circle. So I made some strips. I made 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I did 5 strips. And then I did the top strip was when I cut the strip, I made sure that it was just a little bit smaller on the sides so that the beautiful color will show behind it, okay? Because they're going to go right on top like that. And so what I'm going to do now is cut these in 1.5 inches tall. 1.5 inches. I think that always stays the same. So I go 1.5, and then I go 1, and it goes to a half. 1 and 1/2, 1 and 1/2, 1 and 1/2, 1 and probably could use the other side because it's white, but I did this way. All right, so now I'm going to do 2 because I don't want to make it go buckly, because sometimes when you cut too much together it doesn't come out right. So now I'm going to take this, and I can use my cutter. You can use an X-Acto knife and a cut. I just cut straight across. Make sure that they're lined up. And because they're only, 2 inches wide, I can do them with a straight pair of scissors. You can write it down, you can draw a line, I don't know. I just put my scissor underneath and I just cut it like that so that it makes this little square on top of the square. I don't do it precisely. So I'm going to continue doing that, and I'll be right back. I'm just going to show you how I make one, and then I'm going to make the rest off camera. Okay, so I have one of these now, and it has the edge all the way around it. And this is where you use your corner cutter. And I'm going to do every one of these, but I'm just going to show you how I do one. You only trim the top of one and the top of this one. Okay, so that goes like this. Then you take some Distress ink if you have it. You don't have to do this part, but I like to because it adds a little vintage to it. And you go around this, the one that goes on top. That. Now I want to make an embellishment to it. So I'm just going to use, I have some of these little card thingies, and this is what I use. I have butterflies, I've got flowers and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to use this one. This is beautiful. Look at how pretty that is. It's got a butterfly on the top. So I'm just going to see what it looks like. Yeah, that'll look cute right on top of that. So I'm going to cut it. Just like that. Then you're going to glue this onto this back piece. Just a little bead. Little bead of glue, and it goes right on the top. Like that. Now you take this piece, you put glue all over it, and set it right on top of this, like that. That's it. Now you just put whatever you want on top as your embellishment, and you make 19 more, and I'll be right back. So I have made all these little cards. They're all different. Okay, now this is how you put it together. You start on the left side, and you skip this one. Don't do this one. Then you take your glue and put it on the next one. Just in that little spot. Don't get any glue anywhere else. Just get it in that little spot really good. And you take one of these and you put it right to the edge. Right along that line there. Okay. Skipping that first one. Now turn it and press. Okay, let's do another one. Do the second one here. Make sure it's matched up to the bottom. Don't go over. Nice and glued. Turn it and press. I'll do one more and then I'll do it off camera, or I'll speed it up. I don't know yet. This is so relaxing. It is relaxing, it really is. And then fold it down. All right, I'm gonna just keep going. Okay, so now this is the last one, and you do the same thing at the end. This last one on here. Now the thing that you need to remember is maybe your cuts weren't exactly perfect, but just don't go over the inside. You can go a little bit on the outside, but don't go over on the inside when you're placing your little cards down. Okay. Look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful. With all the different embellishments on the top of it. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. We're going to do the base, this part. So I want to use this purple for my base, and I'm going to use this for the top part, because it's going to allow this to then stand out. Now how you measure this, because this is the plate, the paper this is going to go on. I just kind of eyeball it a little bit, and I give it a little bit more room on each side, and it looks like I can do there, and then I can do here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Okay, so there we go. Now, what I like to do with this piece, though, is I like to make it nice. So I actually will cut the edges. And I will distress the edge, because it's going to go on top of another piece of paper, and I want to give it some accent here. All right, so I've got this piece. It's ready to go, but I want to make the bottom piece as well. So I needed to make it a little bit bigger on the edge. So I'm going to mark here and here. Okay, so if I put this on top, it's really pretty around the edge. Okay, so now what we want to do on this piece, the one that's on the bottom, we're going to mark it a little bit. We're going to actually use a ruler, corner to corner, because we want to find the exact center of this. I'm just going to do a little line like that. I don't need to go all the way down, just enough to make the quadrant in the middle. Okay, so here's my center. And now I take a pokey tool and I use the end of this protractor and I just poke a hole in the bottom, in the middle of it. So it has a hole. Because this is where we're going to put a brad. Okay, so there's that. So don't worry about this because we're going to put this right on top of it. So there's that. And then I want to make it nice. So I'm going to also cut the edges, the corners of this. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I thought I'd do it. I'm not gonna put distress ink around that. I just wanted to put it on that one. So here it goes like this. And I'm just going to simply glue this down. Like that. And if you notice, the other side has a hole. So we're going to punch this all the way through to the front. There's my hole. Oh, so now the same dimension you did this circle here is the same dimension you want to put here. So like I said, I put it at this little half mark there, and I'm going to do the same. So I'm just going to spin it like this. Like that. That's just to help me position. See? That way it's positioned perfectly in the middle. Okay? All right. Now what I do is, see, now it's all sitting here like this. And remember that flap that we didn't glue? Now it's time to glue it. So you put a little glue on it, just on the flap. Like that. Hold this piece down, lift this up, and fold this under. And then glue it down. You want this glued down to that piece of paper. And make sure it stays glued good. That's the part that's real important. It needs to be glued really good. So let it dry. Now the next thing we want to do is make a handle. So I'm going to use some strips that I have like this. And you want to make 3, I'd say 3/4 inch strips long. And you want to use a cutter because you want them straight. So I'm going to make 3 and I'll be right back. Now I'm going to just do is glue them all together. Because I want a nice sturdy handle. Goes right on top of each other. Alright, there's my handle. So you want to see how this works? Let's take a look. Oh, look at that. Make sure nothing sticks together. Make sure it works perfectly. Go all the way around. Kind of stuck there. You want to make sure none of the glue sticks to the next one. It's kind of stuck. There. And there. Okay. Now we'll go back. That's why you need the handle. And I put the handle there. See? Very nice. Now I have to make sure that one's really glued really well. So now what we want to do is we take this little handle, and I like to do a little bit of a corners on this. Not too bad. Just a little bit. And now you want to poke a hole, because you're going to put this right here. You want to poke a hole here. So I'm going to put it right here. Poke a hole. This is where my brad is going to go. Nice big hole. If you have a pokey tool, then use that as well. Alright, so we're going to put this there, and we're going to find ourselves a brad. I need to explain something to you about brads. I mean, you can buy them in a kit. You can just find all kinds of brads. But I got creative, and I made my own brads. I learned how to make these off of Natasha's site. It's Treasure Books. And I learned how to make these brads. Now these are made with wire and some are made with actual brads. It depends. For example, this one's made with a brad. I just glued it to the top of a little sequence. So I was going to decide on which one I'm going to use for my project. Let's take a look. I need a small one because I don't want it to be too big. Oh, here's cute. Look at this one. I think that'd be perfect. So I'll put this in here and then put it all the way through here. And then put them apart. Now I have this going on. So then I'm going to make sure it's just connected to the first one on the bottom. You don't want to glue it to any others. So I'm going to put a little glue here and lift this up, push this over, and it's just going to be to there. And I'm going to glue it down like that. Okay, so see? Looks like that. Okay. So now, this is a little too long. So I'm just going to cut it off. There you go. Now it's ready to go. Now you have completed your card. Oh my goodness sakes. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So then you just do this. And then you can actually write on whatever ones you want to write on. You can write on the back, the front, send notes to whoever you want to give this to, or just give it to them like this. It's absolutely gorgeous. See you next time.